Welcome back to another session where we'll be looking at inequalities. Okay, we know from our secondary that inequalities are expressions that involve symbols like the less than, the greater than, the less than or equal to, and the greater than or equal to. These are inequalities. For example, we can look at 4 minus 1 is less than 5. Or maybe we can look at negative 2 is greater than negative 3. This is an inequality as well. But in this video, we'll be mainly considering linear inequalities. What are linear inequalities? So let's try to look at and see what linear inequalities are. Linear inequalities are just basically expressions that involve these symbols that we've talked about, and they also involve variable. For example, we can look at an expression like 2x plus 5 is less than 6. For example, find that this is a linear inequality. So since we've stated that we'll be considering linear inequalities, let's try to see how we can solve them. And let's start with an example. Say example 1, which will be 3 and open brackets we have 2x minus 1 is less than 8x minus 7. So how can we solve this inequality? So let's expand the left hand side. We are going to get 6x minus 6 is less than 8x minus 7. And we can actually do it the way we do it with equations, where we can make these jump the inequality. Okay, change the type of eraser I'll be using. Okay, so we can make this jump to the other side and this also jump to the other side. And when we do that, what we're going to get will be 6x minus 8x is less than 6 minus 7. That's what we're getting. And we find that this side we're going to get negative 2x is less than negative 1. And remember, the side that has the variable, which is x in this case, always has to be positive. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide throughout by negative 2. And when you divide, if the part that has a variable, which is this part, has a negative, and you divide by a negative, the sign that is in the middle here has to change. If it will be less than, it will become greater than. That's just how it works. So when the sign changes, we're going to get x to be greater than negative 1 over 2. That's how just how it works. Even if, for example, you had negative x, let's say is greater than 3, you find that this part has to have a positive, and since there is a negative here, you divide by negative 1, even this side by negative 1, and if you do that, you find that the sign has to change. It will have to become a less than. It will be like that. That's just how it works. But if it was like this, the answer would just be this. Okay, there will be no need of changing the sign. So we only change the sign when this side has the side that has an x, or let's say an y has a negative. That's when we change the sign. So that was our first example. Let's try to look at another example. Okay, second example will be solve negative 3x plus 1 over 2 is greater than 4. So how do you go about solving this? So what we can do is we can say we are cross multiplying this, or what we can say is that we are multiplying both sides by 2, which is just one and the same thing. So if we say we're multiplying both sides by 2, we mean that we multiply by 2 here, even this other side we multiply by 2, but it's the same with the cross multiplying. So what we are going to get on this side, you find that this 2 and this 2 cancel. You have 3x plus 1 be greater than 8. Okay, so this one is going to jump to the other side, and you're going to have negative 3x. Negative 3x is greater than 8 minus 1, and we know that 8 minus 1 is 7. So you have 3x is greater than 7, and this part always has to be positive. Part that has the part that has the variable, which is x, always has to be positive. So we are going to divide by negative 3 and negative. So this will cancel, and since it had the negative and we have turned it into a positive, the sign is going to change. It's going to go like that. Okay, and the answer that you're going to get will be x to be less than 7 over negative 7 over 3 as your final answer. Okay, let's try to look at another last question on this. So what if you had x minus 4 over 6 minus x minus 2 over 9? We're saying this is less than or equal to 5 over 18. How do you go about solving this? Okay, so we find that we need to get rid of these, the denominators. How can we do that? Okay, so we find that we can take 18 to be our common denominator, or we can say that 18, all these numbers, the 6 and the 9 can go into 18. So what we are going to do is multiply both sides by 18, and we are going to do this 18, or let me do this. It's one and the same thing even if I do it 18. So what we're going to get will be, how many times does 18 go into, does 6 go into 18? It's 3 times. So we're going to say 6 into 18, 3, and we're going to have this minus 9 into 18, it's 2 times, and 18 into 18, it's just once. So this is what you're going to remain with, and you're just going to expand the left hand side, and you are going to get 3x minus 12 minus 2x then plus 4 is less than or equal to 5. Okay, I hope we are moving together and you've understood what I just did. So you find that we can move these to the other side, okay, and remain with this, and you find that if we subtract 2x from 3x, we're just going to remain with x. So we are saying that we have x to be less than or equal to 5 when this negative 12 goes to the other side, it will be plus 12. Then when this one goes to the other side, it will be minus 4. Okay, so what we are going to get is x is less than or equal to, let's do 4 minus 5. That's a 1 plus 1 plus 12, that's a 13. So your answer is going to be 13, just like this. Remember, if we had a negative here, the answer was going to be we are going to divide by -1, even here -1, and the sign was going to change, and it would have gone this side, and the negatives would have cancelled, and the answer would have been like this. Okay, but now since it is just positive throughout, and the answer that you are getting is x to be less than or equal to 13. Alright, so that's about linear inequalities, and that's the best introduction that I can give you. I hope you've understood, and we're going to meet in the next videos as we go on and explore more things about inequalities. And hey, if you have any question, don't forget to text me on WhatsApp using that number that you see on the screen. Bye bye.